Good morning, guys. This is Simon with Trade and Perform Coaching. This is my shameless marketing. There you go. That's the extent of it. I don't worry about whether you want to sign up or not. This is for people who want to make money, not for people who want fancy marketing. Okay, so let's go off to the races, right? The trade I'm going to focus on today is the Trade and Perform Super Trap. What is the Trade and Perform Super Trap? It is any apex. Okay, so an apex is defined with these little squares. You always see these in hindsight. This little triangle always shows up 2 or 3 bars off to the right. So you're never having to respond immediately. You're not trading this triangle, right? The purpose of this trade is it has a high win rate. It's easy to identify and has great risk reward on the majority of the setups. Okay, so we're going to go both short and long, do both short and long setups. So this trade right here, this occurred at 9:11 a.m. You have your first apex. It's right here. So the difference between this apex and this apex, why am I not looking to trap on this apex? Because there is no arrow associated with this apex. So this is not in consideration. Okay? This one has an apex, has an arrow up. So I'm going to take it and draw a line across the top of that bar. Okay, so I want to show you this because the super trap involves getting the bar to close outside. Okay, the regular trap, which is still valid on this, is that bar right here. So the way this would work is this is a stop, right? Don't be scared of your stops. You have to decide whether you're going to take the super trap or just the regular trap. I take both. Okay, so this stop would cost me from 19,874 to 19,889. So what's the advantage in this, knowing this information, right? So first of all, you know that stop, let's just call it 20 points for easy math. This is going to cost you $400. You may like the stop, you may not like the stop. Most of you everyone in the room is smart enough to figure out how they want to modify the stop in one way or another. But this is the maximum stop you should use. So that is important because now you can calculate how much risk you want to take on each and every trade based on your account size, right? If you know you're going to lose a maximum of $400, now you can decide 1 contract, 2 contracts, 10 contracts, etc., etc. Comes back up. This is your orthodox close outside. This is your super trap. This trade runs from 19,881 to 19,850. That is 31 points or $600 a contract, more than covering your loss over here, getting you profitable. We now run back up one more time, right? We can still trap on this up to 2 times per bar. Here's your entry. So let me erase this. Notice I'm going through very slowly. Here's your entry. Here's your bar. You're just focused on this, right? Notice I didn't mention anything about location, market, up, down, anything else. I'm just focused on the setup. There's my entry. Is right here. 19,881, and it clearly extends without looking to the right. 19,779. That is 90 points or $1,800 contract for a risk of, let's just call it, it's 15 points in this case, but let's just call it 20. Okay, so pretty good risk reward. When I look off to the left, this is a potential setup for me. And now because there's an arrow here, I want it within 3 bars at the bottom. This will become a potential trap for me. Okay, and because there's an arrow here, this will become a potential trap. So now I know where the playing field is. Go to the right. This is a potential trap. Right here. Now, I want to make a distinction. These trades are better at or beyond these 2 channels. I'm pointing to this channel and this channel. Okay, so that is valid. It just isn't at the fourth channel. That is an entry. My risk is 20 points. So let's see what would happen if I took that trade. Entry. Stopped. Okay, but remember, this is stopped, I believe, right here. And your re-entry here. Now notice the difference. This one didn't touch the fourth channel. This one pretty much did, right? Now, I want to show you something. I don't know why I have this marked off. I'm going to erase it. What was I going to do here? Why would I highlight that? Hold on one second. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm still trapping on this. Here's the distinction. Apologies. Here's the distinction. On this one, sorry. On this trade right here, this bar right here is not an orthodox closeout side. This one is. I don't care which one you take. I tend to take both of them because I know I can make up the P&L if I get stopped. But this is the orthodox closeout side, and this one gives you the ability to scale off and then push. You're going to get stopped on the balance because we obviously know that it goes up from here, right? Now, here's the advantage. This was all in the middle and it traded sideways. Obviously, this has an added element of risk because the Fed chair is speaking, right? So now, as this is going up, right, I know there's nothing for me to do or read within this process until I get up here or a new setup is formed over here to the right. Okay, that's nothing. This is still nothing because there's no arrow within the 3 bars to the high. Okay, stop. From here to here, that is an orthodox entry. The entry would be short at 19,866 and a quarter. Stop 20 points, right? I am not trying to hide where the stops are. I don't need to, right? There's your scale. Let's get one more bar. There's your scale at 69. So what's the importance of the scale? There's 2 ways to approach it. You can either take the scale and get most of your risk off, right? That's from 86 down to 69. 17 points and your stop's roughly 20. This gets you pretty close to 0 if you take a stop on this. And that starts to break down to the downside, right? And that's within, from the time frame, 928 to 940. You've traveled from 19,886 roughly down to 19,792, 80 points. Second, 1,600 points. And by the way, Joshua in the room, and you're welcome to come in the room and ask him personally, pulled off 242 points on this trade. Okay? So this is valid. Remember I talked about the trades over here earlier? This becomes valid if you're willing to trade inside the channel. This is the trap bar. This is the close outside. If you want a continuation entry, that is your continuation entry. It obviously paid. I'm not going to count the points. And by the way, this was a potential trap right here. You'd want to mark it off. And so is this. It just didn't trigger on the long side. We come down to IB high. Now you know. So multiple members, Dan in the room, Dan in Canada, has pulled out $100,000 out of Apex to this point of the year. This year. Coming down, no setup. Notice we're free falling here, right? If I look back to the left, there's nothing to trap me here. I'm waiting for a new setup. If I have to go this far back, I'm just going to wait, right? I'm all the way into the overnight session. So I'm doing nothing here. I'm not getting stopped. I'm not guessing. Nothing. This is a valid entry location right here. So I'm going to mark it off. Okay, now notice, I would be waiting for that entry there, and I don't get it at 9:51. Okay, so I want to show you. This is for guys. This is in the for members in the room. I want to show y'all something. If you get this trap, this pattern repeats, and you can bank it. Okay. Delayed trap in, right? So won't draw. I'm not sure why. Delayed trap back in. Wait, right? On the pullback. First arrow up. Stop is against the apex to the left. Okay. So the way you would handle that becomes a 65 against a 45. And so the way you can work is two ways. Either enter on the arrow up, which we already know arrow pink bar is strong, or wait for the pullback, but your stop is against this apex right over here on the bottom. That's not really what I'm talking about, but it's important that I coach it up for the guys in the room. Okay, so this is valid over here. I want to point this out. If you're still looking for the short, because again, we're not afraid of the losses. That's a valid entry. 1, 2, 3, you get your risk off. Then you get stopped if you took it short. No trap available there. But candidate because of the down red arrow. Candidate right here as well. That would be your entry right there, this bar. This is your entry, another 20-point stop. That doesn't, notice that did not stop, right? Here, I'll make it big for you. Did not stop. Now it stopped. Okay, so look, this is gonna, you never got 2 bars. It did go in your favor, but it didn't give you 2 bars, which most of us would have been looking for. And you got to remember the caution with, so if you trade, right, you're welcome to have your levels and retraces and whatever you want. I'm just giving you the setup, right? So 2 things that you'd want to note. This was not a orthodox trap, right? Excuse me. This was not. This was from a lower high for continuation or for a rollback to the downside. And for members in the room, it was not an inverse supernova, not yet. So you just want to put those factors down. You don't want to make an excuse for the stop. You just go, I took it, stopped, right? So you gave back 20 points. That's an orthodox entry right there, right? Closed outside, closed back in, short 19, whatever number this is, 25, there you go, 19, 7, 25, 25. So what happens? Got my risk off, and I've gotten paid. So notice, I lost 20 points over here. I made, well, that's 726 to 62, so that's like 60 points at least on that first leg down, right? No entry over here. This is a potential entry later on for a long. This is a valid entry right here. Sorry, I skipped over it. Arrow up, square, entry, you got your risk off, and you did not get stopped on this retrace. So, and this sets up a potential head and shoulder somewhere in here because we caught the short coming up, I believe. So, let's see. Entry, risk off, not stopped, although big retrace, right? This becomes a potential trap right here if you were looking long. So depending on how you traded it, you either took this short and you had a maximum favorable excursion from roughly 86 to 42. If you took this trap back in, you ran from 58 to at least 91, right? And this is going to be a valid. This is not valid, but this is. So like that. Okay. Now it's set up. No trade in there. So that's a delayed trap. That's technically. So I want to show you how you'd want to handle that. From the time you get the, see how this formed what you wanted it to do is form this apex and then retrace back up, right? So this is right on the borderline of calling it, right? So I believe we shorted this, if I recall, in the room. I'm not 100% at this point. It's been 24 hours, so. But obviously that rolled down no matter how you looked at it. And then you'll notice this was your trap right here. And if you wanted to flip it long, obviously you had to have a read, but it doesn't matter. You either just got paid over here, or you took this long and you got stopped for whatever that is, 15 to 20 points, right? And now you're looking. So, no trap. I'm not sure I would have taken that. Or that. Okay, so I want to go back. This is no longer valid. This one off of here, you would have cut this. You gotta look back to the left. This is valid. And this is really not very taxing. You're just doing this while you're trading. Okay, now it's potential. That's a trap on bar back. Okay, and even better because you also have the down arrow off onto the right side of the formula. Trap, that thing's gonna fly. Oh, no, took 2 times. Got your risk off. This is your... So the way that this is over New York lunch, right? So this is where the turn comes from. This is valid. Entry 1, not orthodox. Stop, orthodox, risk off. And then again, orthodox yet again on that tweezer's bottom into the same trap off to the left. You're only keying off of one setup, right? Lift. 1, 2, 3. This is valid entry here. Let's see how wrong I get this. This is a valid entry for a long 20-point stop. That is a stop, and then you get another entry there again. So if you spend time in the room, right? This is net profitable if you traded it, right? You got stopped, paid, paid. If for some reason you took this short, you got paid. I wouldn't have shorted it there, but we're down 300 points or something like that. This is a valid entry, so you got stopped. This is a valid entry. I don't trade New York lunch, but we can still go through the entries. That began the roll to the upside, I believe. Oh, no, it took one more shot, but you got paid. And if you took the short here, you got paid over here as well. I want you to listen how many times I use the word stopped versus paid. And look, the stop's always 20 points. Look what the paid is. It's stupid, right? And it distinguishes, right? What distinguishes this? It's giving you specific apexes to look at with the use of the arrow, right? That's letting you trade without getting stopped. Now, the low did not set up here, unfortunately. It did not. There's other ways to catch it with these combination of algos, but it did not set up there. And I want to pause and talk about that for a second at 11:40. First of all, I don't trade lunch, right? But at this point, you should be up huge on the day. Joshua pulled out a 250-point trade, not ticks, points, right? Guys in the room are killing it following the process, right? And there's multiple setups here. I'm only discussing the one that's easiest to learn and the easiest to execute, right? So next, what I wanted to show y'all, so this goes to the members in the room, the delayed entry, right? So see how this is a, oh, you know what? I'm wrong. I lied. Excuse me. Arrow down within 3 bars. Trap. It got the low. Sorry, missed it. Even if you'd missed it, it wouldn't matter, right? And that was worth just a lot of money. And so that's the review for the day, right? So what's the lesson here? And it's not just a one-day lesson. Focus on the apex super traps, and B, the apex traps with these arrows to the left. Why? Because they help you distinguish between the traps that work incredibly well and the ones that stop you almost immediately. So I'm trying to find an example. This was the only place where it was, where if you were trying to short, it would be rough. Let's see. Your trade would look like this. Short and stopped. This was the only place, and I don't mind highlighting the shorts. This was the best one because it was off on the edge, right? That would have been the best one to attack. But if you're attacking each of these, right? So I would say this was where it got rough. Stop, stop, paid. So you got to take 2 stops there to get to third pay. And let me be clear on this, guys. Just rolling back. The best one is always at the high of all these series, right? And you're always going to have to balance between how aggressive you want to get on the entry. So a lot of money being made. If you want to visit the room, right? But don't come in the room and not ask any questions, right? That's stupid. I'm sorry, I'll use that word. It's stupid. If you're going to come in the room, ask questions. Don't come in on the opportunity to make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year and not ask any questions, right? It's $100 for the first month, $299 per month after that. Full membership gives you access to the team and the team algos. Cancel anytime. And that's all I got. I'll talk to you later, guys. Have a great day.